And I'm going to start with this presentation. First thing I'm going to do is name it Audra Stop Motion. And I want to find a background. So I can right click on my slide and change background. I want to choose an image that's on my computer. This is a picture I took at an aquarium. Great, so now this is my background. I'm going to add a title, Audra Stop Motion. And I'm actually going to make that a different color so it pops a little. And I don't need this other title. And this is how I begin my stop motion. I'm going to come over and I'm going to right click on my slide. I'm going to duplicate my slide. And then I'm going to remove my words. And now I want to go and find a PNG file, a transparent file. So because I like to use free resources, I'm going to go to Google Images and I'm going to look for a clownfish. But I don't know if these are copyright free or not. I can quickly select Tools, Usage Rights, and tell them I want to use something that's labeled for reuse with modification. It is going to minimize my results, but I now have these as options. I still don't have a PNG, so I'm going to check some of these options over here. I can modify my size, I can change my color. I'm looking for transparent, which would be a PNG, and I'll go with this one. So I'm going to open this up, view image. This doesn't end in JPG, but if I right click and copy the image address, that should work. Now it's telling me here, free for commercial use, no attribution required. I come in here, I go to my image option. I have the URL, so I'm going to paste that in. And notice now it says PNG, so that's a little trick for you. And now I've got another clownfish to add. He's a little too big. I'm going to shrink him down. And here I will begin my stop motion. I'm going to duplicate that slide. I'm going to select my fish. And I'm going to use my arrow keys. And I'm going to go up once and left once. This is going to be painfully slow, but I'm going to duplicate my slide, select my fish, go up once and left once. And I'm going to continue to do this until I have a lot of slides. Always just moving it up and over. I could make it get smaller each time to give it the appearance that it's moving farther away. I could make it bigger to make it look like it's coming closer to me. I could decide to duplicate my slide, and instead of moving it up and down, I might flip it, rotate it, flip it horizontally, and now he's facing the other direction. And now maybe I duplicate my next slide. Now that he's facing the other direction, maybe I'm going to make him go right and up. And now maybe I want him to say something, so I'm going to grab a call out. I'm going to give my little guy a call out. Now I can use this little, see my mouse change, I can drag that over this direction and then simply double click in here and say maybe I want to center that. And center it vertically as well. And maybe I want to repeat this for a while. I'm just going to duplicate this a bunch of times because I don't want that to flash on the screen. I want people to be able to see it. Now that I have two occurrences, I highlight both right click and duplicate, and it'll duplicate it twice. So now I have 4. I'm going to select all of them, right click, duplicate slides, and now I might want to consider changing this to say fine. Where are you? Maybe I'm going to move this up and give it to one of these other fish to engage in some conversation. Not only that, but maybe I want to spin this little guy a little bit so he faces my fish. So you're going to continue to build your dialogue with your characters, and when everything's all done, you're going to go to File on the menu bar to publish this and access the link you'll need to share. Publish to the web. And it gives me the option to change every 3 seconds. I could have it change every second. You can actually go in and modify the URL to make it change in fractions of a second, which I will show you how to do shortly. So I'm going to go with every second. I'm going to start it as soon as it loads. I'm going to restart after its last slide, and I'm going to publish this. Are you sure you want to publish this? Okay, yes. Now, one of the awesome things about this is once I do this, any changes I make to my Google presentation will be live with this link. Here's the timing that I talked about earlier. If I wanted this to change every quarter of a second, I would make it 0.25. Oh, it's not going to let me do it in here, so let me copy everything, come over to another tab. I'm going to paste that in, and here is where I can change that. It has to be 4 digits, and these are milliseconds. So I hit enter, I plug that in, and now you'll see my stop motion. So obviously I need to go back and modify some. That happens a little too quickly. I might want to repeat that a little bit. But again, this is the link I'm going to want to share to show everyone my stop motion if I choose to use Google Present.